what unconditional self-worth is why are you enough even if some people don't accept you? Why are you enough even if you have made mistakes? Why are you enough even if you didn't achieve that thing you wanted to achieve? Why are you still lovable and enough? Why? If you don't like what you see in the mirror sometimes. How come there's something in you that is so worthy inherently that it is beyond condition? So obviously one way to think about it is the love you have for your children. There's really nothing they can do to get you to love them more, although they might try. And there's really nothing they can possibly do or say to get you to love them less, though they'll be afraid of that. Right? So getting your unconditional self-worth is really, it's a very dynamic process. And the reason why I bring you into it is because you're going to be the conduit for which you teach this, right? This is a different kind of education ultimately. So when you think about how you were in school growing up, how many times did you actually have an experience that you didn't feel positively received? A schmillion, right? Right? How many times? And how many times today did your kids have an experience where they didn't feel positively received? Whether they weren't positively received or they perceived that they weren't positively received. Right? How about in the next year? Right? There's so many of them. And so what happens is the nervous system, because we want to feel safe, we want to feel connected, it starts to subconsciously and consciously, but subconsciously scan. You start scanning, am I being received? Am I safe? How about now? How about now? Right? Before the digital age, we would be scanning when we were in social situations. Now kids scan when they're on their phone. Did they like my post? How about now? How about now? How about now? Did they like my picture? How about now? So that kind of neurosis, that kind of fear is actually elevated. There's more insecurity, more anxiety than there's ever been from all the studies internationally. And it's because there's more opportunity to obsess about it, basically, and train the nervous system around that. So all of us will have some subconscious way of scanning. For example, I'm standing in front of you, some of you have never seen me before. Your subconscious mind, when it looks at me, is saying, do I trust this guy? Right? And it's not your fault, it's just your subconscious mind, which is why we survived as a species. So it's a great thing that we can actually track this, because we want to feel safe. So there's an undercurrent, a process that's happening that your kids experience all the time as they scan, am I safe? And so we want to recognize that that is always turned on, and they're going to have some interpretations that will be accurate and some that won't be accurate. And that's where you fit in to doing this. So one thing that's really important is, can you ask your children about times that they didn't feel positively received, right? If you have a kid who's really resistant, maybe you got to start a little easier, a little slower. Maybe if this question's too deep, you got to layer it in over weeks, months, years, right? But bit by bit, getting to a place so they can go, it didn't feel good, I didn't feel accepted. Wow, imagine having a conversation with your kid like that. Or, wow, I did feel accepted. And what does that acceptance mean to you? And we want to have an exploration with them, an explorative kind of dialogue, where we can start getting the front part of their brain to start to develop a more analytical way of receiving the information and saying, oh, wait, hold on. Right, there's more to this than just they don't like me and I'm bad. Right? And so you play a very big role in learning how to do that with yourselves, to really say, God, I'm really triggered right now. I feel rejected. I feel like I screwed up. Okay, good. That's the opportunity there to turn up the dial on your self-awareness and go, all right, so what's happening for me? Because the more aware you can become, then the more skilled and you become at being able to help your kids. You'll hear me say this probably throughout the talk, is that your bandwidth to track the experience of your child gets greater and greater and greater as you do this. Yeah. And so another piece that's important is really helping kids get that, I know it's so confusing. It really seems that you're not good enough if they didn't accept you. That is so confusing. I remember being so confused when kids didn't accept me. I really thought it was about me. And maybe there's some feedback in it. You're showing up in a certain way. There is feedback, and that's an important piece to teach. But fundamentally, foundationally, we also want to help them get, oh, wait, so just because it seems true, that doesn't mean it's true? Exactly. And that's a big leap for kids, right? Because in terms of brain development, there's different stages, of course, of brain development. That's kind of advanced. A lot of adults struggle with that. It's like we take it personally, when on some level we know we shouldn't have to take it personally, but we do.